Now, let's bring back our panel. Britt, as Catherine noted, al-Qaeda had threatened to kill this American journalist, Luke Summers, sometime this weekend. Any problem with President Obama ordering this raid, given the fact that both of the hostages died?
Well, it's regrettable that both of the hostages died, and there's some reports have indicated that the South African hostage was going to be released, and so that makes that particularly tragic. But I give the president credit for trying in these instances. I think it was worth a try, regardless of the outcome. They had reason to believe that Summers was about to be killed anyway, so why not? And it also puts these terrorists on notice that at any given moment the SEALs may be coming, which may have some deterrent effect on them. So I say, good, worth a try.
Juan, as Britt just discussed, and Catherine, this is complicated by the fact that there had been negotiations going on for the South African teacher, and the negotiators claim that he was supposed to be released today. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, I don't think you could pay ransom for these people. I think that would simply encourage more kidnappings. Now, the critics can say, look, this is the third failed attempt at rescues that we've had in the last 6 months. Don't forget the James Foley situation. But
ISIS in Syria.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at that and then you consider, for example, what happened with Bo Bergdahl, where we had a swap, I don't think the critics can be consistent in saying, oh, we don't like that you would trade prisoners to get an American back, but on the other hand, when you try to rescue Americans, we're going to say that you are making a mistake. It has to be consistent, and I agree with Britt Hume. I think you have to say the president knew that this man's life was in danger and made an attempt to save him, and we should say that's the right move for the American government.
Before the raid, Hillary Clinton was talking this week about the use of smart power in American foreign policy, and here was part of her explanation of smart power.
Showing respect even for one's enemies, trying to understand and insofar as psychologically possible, empathize with their perspective and point of view, helping to define the problems, determine the solutions.
Congresswoman Harman, do we need to respect our enemies and to empathize with their point of view?
Well, I think we need to respect those who live in the Middle East, who are devout Muslims, and who think that our policies are wrong. No, I don't think we have to respect members of terror groups, ever. I think we have to have harsh policies against them. And I just want to add one more thing about the hostage effort, and that is the Yemeni government cooperated with us. And building a coalition of people who don't have identical views, respecting the people in that coalition, is going to be the way we stop this horrible aggression on American interests.
But I want to get back to Hillary Clinton. I mean, because we're not when she's talking about our enemies, she's not talking about people who disagree with us. She's talking about al-Qaeda. She's talking about, if I may, she's talking about ISIS. And she said that we need to respect them, show respect even for one's enemies, empathize with their perspective. Do we need to empathize with ISIS?
I take issue with the word enemies. I think we have to respect people with different points of view in the Middle East in order to win the argument with them. I don't exactly know what she was saying.
What's the problem with it? Well, you know who the enemies, there's no doubt who that is.
But, Britt, everybody in the Middle East and everybody in these areas is not an enemy.
We understand that, but that's irrelevant to what she said.
Well, I guess I don't understand what she meant by enemy. I do understand what she meant about respect, and I think respect is a key to winning the Sunni population to help us in the Middle East.
That she meant, you know, groups like ISIS, groups like al-Qaeda, which slaughter Americans.
Well,
do we need to empathize?
Let me make one more try. Let me at least say, from my point of view, these people are prospective enemies if we don't show respect and an understanding for their points of view, and I have to believe that that's what she meant.
George?
Let me try to say this as politely as possible. The English language is not Hillary Clinton's close friend. She's just not a fluent speaker. And we're going to have a lot of experience with this. We've had it already. We're going to have a lot more going forward. She thinks what she was saying was a crashing banality said in the most artless way possible. She's saying we ought to try and understand the other guy, get inside his mind, understand his motivation. Fine, that's how you say it. Instead, she had to talk about a kind of gaseous new wave age rhetoric about respect and empathy and all the rest. She was saying nothing particularly controversial, but she was saying it in in an unfortunate way.
She meant to say something non-controversial and ended up saying something highly controversial, just as she did a few weeks ago when she said, you know, don't let anybody tell you that it's businesses and corporations that create jobs. And, you know, they had to rush the fire brigade out to try to put out the storm that was created by that inane comment, palpably incorrect. And, you know, she does have a history, as George points out here, and, you know, she's been around a long time. You'd think she'd be sharper than this as a candidate, but so far
she's
not.
Candidate yet.
Briefly, what were you going to say, Congresswoman?
I said she isn't a candidate yet. It's a tough line of work. Like this line of work, every word is analyzed. I think she could have stated that more artfully. I totally agree with George, and I'm proud of George for saying that.
Well, I just think the high level of scrutiny, though, is attached in part because she is such a titan right now on the political stage, and I think the right doesn't have anybody who can compete with her. And so every word that she says now is swatted and battered around. It really isn't that consequential.
Do you think we need to empathize with our enemies, yes or no?
Enemies? No, but I think you need to empathize and understand the source for those people who join Al-Qaeda.
She said empathize with the enemies.
Well, I'm just saying, why are we having this conversation, Chris? Because she is Hillary Clinton and she's, you know, in position to be the next president.
Right. yeah, that's right. That's
so,
exactly right.
I just kind of, you know.
Well, Fox News is not our enemy, right?
Not mine.
Hers.
And you're here, so I don't assume it's not yours either. All right, panel, we have to take a break here.